welcome back to another episode of Diving Deeper. I'm pretty sure you remember us. I'm Debbie.
And I'm Manny.
Welcome to another episode. All right, so today we're going to be talking about truth. Do you want to start us off?
Sure. Let's see. When I start thinking of truth, I always start thinking about honestly the stories I heard growing up and the lessons my parents tell me. Don't lie to people. Don't go spreading lies because they end up going around biting you in the butt. But now that I'm older and I kind of look in my life and the people I know, and even sometimes politics, especially in politics, where a lot of people use lying to get ahead in life, and it's actually kind of regular in our life. There are studies shown that like out of 147 people in I think 1996 that were tested, they were asked if how many lies do you tell a lie every day. Only 7 of them said that they don't tell lies, or they didn't tell a lie that one day. That most people say about 1 to 2 lies every day, and the psychiatrists have looked at the art of well, not art, but the act of masking a lie with a truth, and they gave it a term. It was paltering, and it's used a lot in businesses, for law firms, especially in politics, where, for example, like if you're going to a car dealer, and the dealer's telling you about maybe you want a car that starts up fast in the snow, and the guy tells you, yeah, this car starts up fast in the snow, but doesn't tell you that the car breaks down the next can break down the next week. He didn't actually tell you a lie, but he masked the lie with the truth.
I guess it would be kind of like giving you a truth but withholding some of it.
Yes, not telling you the complete story.
Okay. So it's not technically a lie.
Yeah.
It's more of I'm going to give you a fact about it
Mhm.
and not the whole entire thing.
Yeah, like a lot of politicians also do this when when they get asked a question that they don't want to answer, they give you a different truth to kind of mask away from what they don't want you to ask.
A lot of people do that, regardless of politics or not. I've heard it in many different situations where if you ask them a question, let's just say it's very personal or it could potentially destroy their image, they're going to counteract it with, oh, but this is true, and either avoid that topic or try to throw something else out there to distract you. It's not technically selling it like as a lie. It is basically them giving you I guess either another truth or a false truth. I want to go back into it because you said that truth for you always ends up talking to you about lies.
Yeah.
When I looked up truth and stuff, I found that because I wanted to know exactly what truth was,
Yeah.
and I really couldn't find
A concrete definition.
concrete definition. The only thing that I could get is a fact or a belief that is accepted as the truth. So that means we have to accept it. It doesn't mean that it can be 100% true. It just means that we've acknowledged that we accept this as truth.
Yeah.
Another one said there was a quality or state of being true. So that once again, that is basically saying like it's not 100%, but it's in the state of being the truth. So I'm like, there is no 100% truth. There is no, this has to be always, like, there's facts, that you can put out facts that it can be 100%, this is how it is. But to tell someone this is the entire truth, the whole truth, everything, there's nothing to concrete definition of truth.
Yeah.
I have truth that people have drawn out from Bible study teachers, and the Bible teaches that the truth is that which is consistent with the mind, will, character, glory, and being of God. So from what I understood from the biblical side of truth is the only truth that you can get in life is God. God is the truth. That everything else is an expression of the truth. But it all is in itself an expression of God, and God is true.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was kind of like. There's lies, yeah. I'm not saying there's not lies, and
Mm-hmm.
the lies can cover up the fact that there is truth or whatever it is. But a truth and a lie are complete opposites to each other.
Yeah.
But there is no set truth. Truth is subjective, and it is basically how we express something.
Yeah. All right, Debbie. I want to get your opinion on how do you speak the truth to someone when the truth is when the truth is a very hard truth to tell.
When it's a hard truth to tell, basically, it depends on the situation and it depends on the person. I mean, if you have a family member and you have to tell them the hard truth, you're gonna be like, this is a family member and they need to hear it from me, and I need to give them 100% of what's going on with the situation, regardless of what it is. It could be that one of your family members, you know that they're a drug addict and they need to get help, and they don't
Mhm.
want to hear that. No one wants to hear that they need to get help.
Yeah.
But you have to let them know the truth. So the truth for them, you have to go in kind of hard, because you're like, you're my family, I love you, this needs to be done. But I mean, for a friend, let's just say that a friend has something, I need to bring it up to them, you can go in at a little bit of like a softer route, where you're like, hey, as a friend, I need to tell you something, where it's
Mhm.
not as harsh as like, hey, you need to change this now.
Mhm.
But all in all, the truth that you're telling them is your truth that you believe, and not 100% truth. You can believe something to be true, and it's not.
Yeah.
But in your mind, you're like, this is what it is. Cause like, um, let's just say that there's a person over here and he has a bunch of followers and they all believe what he says to be true, and you can't change their mind about it. Like,
Mhm.
let's see, for an example, let's just think like the flat earthers.
Oh
They believe
yes.
that to be
Yes.
true. They can bring out facts and stuff or whatever they want about
Mhm.
it, and that's their truth.
Yeah.
But is that real truth?
No.
No. Because there's other people on the other side that will give counter arguments. So then now you're looking at them and you're like, what is the truth? And then the only truth that you can bring is facts.
Uh huh.
And in reality, sure, you can have plenty of arguments for that side. You can have plenty of arguments for that side. And you can try to tell each other that they're wrong. But each person's going to think that their truth is the real truth.
Yes. And it's hard to argue with people who have accepted a truth for especially for so long,
Mm-hmm.
that no matter how many facts you give to them, or how much logical reasoning, or even sometimes emotional reasoning, that's very rare, but so much reasoning, they still don't recognize what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
because especially people don't like to be wrong. A lot of people don't like to be wrong. It's just, I don't know if it's a pride thing, but I also feel where if I'm told wrong for the things that I like, for example, my hobbies, if I'm told I'm wrong about something, sometimes I'll fight it, even though I'm wrong sometimes.
Oh yeah, because like I said, it's any human being,
Mhm.
any nature. They don't want to be told that what they're doing is wrong. They
Yeah.
don't want to be told that they are doing wrong or that they know wrong. Like, everyone wants to be told that, oh, you're right, because it's better to be like hearing people
Mhm.
tell you, oh, you're right, oh yeah, that's right, other than no, you're wrong, because
Mhm.
now they feel like they've been put down, that what they know is not relevant, or it's not good
Mhm.
enough. And a lot of people are very hard-headed, especially nowadays. A lot of people are stuck on what they believe,
Yeah. Uh huh.
and so because they're stuck on that, and that's what they believe to be correct and what they believe to be true, that right now, I feel like because of this, it's all based off of what we think, what we believe, what we
Mhm.
accepted, is that truth is a moral issue for people now.
Yeah. And I honestly think that's very destructive, that when people are told, or people are kind of pandered to, in the sense, they kind of say, "Oh yeah, 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 you're right," and at the end, they kind
Mm.
of give them that sense of inflation in their ego, and
Mhm.
at least when they feel they're right, especially about other topics, like, "Oh, I'm right about that. I'm right about that. I'm right about that," and I think the consequences, well, not consequences, but the ramifications of that are shown late when you grow up in life, and maybe especially in the workplace. Sometimes, if your boss gives you an order, but you're so used to everything being right, and you think that that order is not right, you're more likely going to go against that order and end up getting yourself or maybe even your other coworkers in trouble with superior.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just very also in relationships, friendships, families. It's very destructive just to be pandered to in about being right
Oh
in
yeah, because
certain
it
cases.
could be that you were brought up knowing one thing, and
Hmm.
if someone tries to go against that, you're like, why would I do such things? Like, this is not how it's supposed to be. This is not right. And then if you go against it, there's of course there's going to be consequences to going against someone either of a higher position from
Hmm.
you or in a relationship with you, because of course no one wants to be told, "Oh, I didn't do it because I don't think so," or I didn't do it because I know it's not right,"
Hmm.
because that person either with who you're with or who you're working with is gonna be like, "But I told you so, and I'm in charge, and I'm supposed to be telling you what needs to be done," and that's completely fine. I mean, your truth and their truth don't have to match.
Yeah.
No one has to match. I mean, if you do, perfect, great. There's
Hmm.
not going to be too many arguments, but there's always going to be little things that you believe that they believe to be right, to be true, that is not going to match up with people. And like I said, it's a moral issue for a lot of people to be true, is because, like I said, truth is a state of belief. It's a state of like a quality or a
Hmm.
belief system. So basically, to have something be true is you have to have a belief system behind it,
Yeah.
and overall, it goes back to the whole belief system of it's because you believe in either in a thing or an attitude or a way of life, and then in my situation it's the belief in God, and God is always behind everything, so of course my truth is his truth,
Hmm.
and what God says to be true is true. But a lot of people don't look at it like that. You can tell someone, "Oh, this is true because God said so,"
Hmm.
but then they're going to come at you with a million different things because
Yes.
that's not what they think is true.
Yes. Especially when it comes to matters about God.
Oh yeah, because it's a very touchy situation when it
Yeah.
comes to that stuff. Because a lot of people will come back at it and be like, "Oh, if truth is God, then what is God, or how can you believe his truth?"
Hmm.
And I'm like, it's all about a belief. Yeah. It
Yeah.
is belief. It is 100% accepting the fact that you believe in something.
Yeah.
Because if you take out believing from a truth, there is no truth.
Yeah.
Because you can give them facts, that's perfectly relevant,
Hmm.
but is that a truth? And you can say it is true, but it's not a truth.
Yes. Yes, and I like to also talk about kind of like the harder truths that sometimes you have to you have to tell someone. For
Mm.
example, like maybe their spouse is cheating on them, or your best friend's going through something, family's diagnosed with something. You never know, and life throws that at you sometimes, and it's terrible when it happens. But I was looking at a website today,
Mhm.
and I found some things that I think they're pretty good tips on how to help with telling people the hard truths. And the first thing to say is to choose your battles wisely. Is to first things first, think this through. What outcome do you want? How likely is that outcome? What will it take to get there? And will the results be worth it in the end? Said another way, this is the time to pick and choose your battles wisely because relationships are everything. Doesn't mean shy away from speaking the truth. Far from it, instead, it means not going after battles with low returns. And what I think it means is just that really you have to really think about some things about the truth you're going to talk. So, because sometimes not everyone has to know the truth at that right moment.
Yeah, there's always going to be a time and a place for anything like that. And of course, you have to think about it, because you can't just go up to a person and
Yeah,
just be like, "Hey, dude, I caught your wife cheating."
yeah,
Like, you have to go about it in a certain way, and that takes some time to be like, "How am I going to tell this person? How close are we?" Because maybe they want to hear it from someone closer than you, so maybe you'll let a closer friend or maybe a family member know before going up to them, or it's all about how
Mm-hmm.
it plans out in a situation and
Yeah.
how you feel it would go, because ultimately you don't know how a person's going to react.
Mm-hmm.
You can be this person's super close friend and you're like, hey buddy, I need to let you know this and this, and then they turn around and be like, why are you lying to me? I don't believe you. This is not right. You're not telling me the truth.
Yeah.
And then of course that's gonna be on them whether or not the truth that you tell them is one they're gonna take and believe.
Yeah. And one thing to also think about is that like for example, if you're not clear about if you should be doing this, ask yourself, will this matter a year from now?
Okay, yeah.
And if it does, yeah, you go for it. But if
Oh
not,
yeah.
if it's not going to make a big impact, whether positive or
Mhm.
negative, then really, rethink: do I really have to tell this person this thing right now, or
Oh yeah. I
will I just
mean,
be making a mess of things?
if it's like, dude, I caught you cheating on the test, that's not gonna really
Yeah,
matter. Come
yeah,
on, that's just a little thing.
yeah,
If it's something that you feel
yeah. For example, like,
that's going to either hurt them negatively, that
mhm,
you need to tell them about, then yeah, of course, it's something that you need to talk to them about.
yeah,
But if it's something that like, hey, dude, after a week, it's all gonna blow over, who cares?
yeah. There's sometimes where sometimes we're saying nothing about something that doesn't have to be said is more beneficial than just blurting it out to that person, because sometimes they may not be in the right state of mind. They may not need to hear it, or maybe it just is inconsequential. It doesn't matter in the long run. Maybe it is just I saw you cheating on a test. I mean, sure, you can talk about that, but cheating on a test, is that really a big deal? And then the other thing it says is to pick the right time, which I think we also discussed in the other point up is
Mm-hmm.
um, but too many people have tough talks on a whim or in highly emotional states. Later, they find themselves exasperated and confused when the conversation doesn't go as expected. If possible, have the discussion face to face. Even if that means using something like Skype or FaceTime. Most of what is said is most of what is said is through body language and facial expressions. If you miss these nonverbal clues, you miss everything the other person is trying to tell you.
Mm.
And I think that's a very right. Oh, for lack of a better term, it's a right thing, a right opinion, at least in my experiences, where a lot of things that people try to say is through body language,
Oh yeah.
and that also picking the right time for both parties to be both in the well, as right as the state of mind could be, because it could be a big thing and they're going through something, but you should be in the right state of mind where you're not letting your emotions cloud you, or maybe they told you a very bad truth, and you're very mad, you're very sad, you're very angry, and that could lead to big arguments.
Mm-hmm.
And choosing the right time to talk is also a big factor in how well people take the truth.
Yeah, I mean, if there is something that, of course, is a truth that you find out or a truth that you need to know, of course, there's going to be emotions behind it. There's going
Yeah.
to be either negative or positive emotions that are going to be flooding. So if you yourself find out a truth and it's in fact negative, and you are either frustrated or sad or upset about it, before you do anything with that truth that you were given, or whether or not you want to do something about that truth, I think you should take time to just fully let it sink in, assess the situation. We should not try to let our emotions cloud what we think is true. So if you see something and you want to go tell a friend, like you saw his friend, um, your friend's girlfriend hanging out with another guy, and you're like, oh, she's cheating, before you get
Hmm.
up into it and rational about it, calm down, figure out the situation first. Like, you could think that she's out with another guy, but maybe she's out with just her brother. Like, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know the full thing about it. Like, it's not a complete truth. It is just what you took from that situation. So a lot of people's truths is what they see, and
Hmm.
not the complete thing. Um, you can be like, hey, I remember you doing this and this and this, and you'd be like, but did you realize what I did before and what I did after that? And they're gonna be like, well, what do you mean? They're like, you just come back and you're out really upset and you're yelling and this and that, and you're like, but did you realize before that I was in a very heated argument with like a parent or a friend, and I was in a very emotional state, and you just happened to be around. And I'm like, okay, so there is reasons behind him having that aggravated state is because something previous, or you were super nice, but then after you left and came back, this happened. What happened? You're like, oh, you don't know the full truth. All you know is your side that you saw.
Yeah.
So of course, there's a different side behind it. So what you believe to be true is only half of it. There's always going to be another side. There's always going to be something else that someone else is going to see. Like, from my point of view right now, I see a computer screen. But from their point of view right now, they see the back of my computer. So I can tell them, I see right now a monkey. And they're going to be like, there is no monkey. And I'm going to be like, but there's a monkey right here. And they're going to be like, you're not telling me the truth. There is no monkey. But if I turn it around and show them a picture of a monkey, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, you were right. You were telling the truth. So, yeah, of course, I'm not lying. And, of course, they weren't lying because there was no monkey.
Yeah. It's a different perspective.
It's a different
point of view.
So that's why people get clouded with emotion, because you're trying to tell them something that is true to you, but they don't understand. So they're coming back at you with negativity and telling you no. And you're like, but I know for facts this is true. So, of course, emotions are flying both ways, that there is no complete truth. I have a truth that was correct. They had a truth that was correct. So then who was lying? No one was lying. It's just the matter of fact of how you perceive it and how you perceive it. So your truth, what you find out, don't let it cloud your thoughts. Don't let it cloud your emotions. That's why if you find something out, dig deeper. Find out more. That's why if you have what you think is true, like I said, I went back to it's because of, like, I feel like God is truth. Go back and read more into the scripture about it. If you're curious about why God is true and why what he says about it, I'm like, it's written down. You can read it. And a lot of people go back and they're like, oh, I read one point and this doesn't mean it this. And I'm like, but did you read all of it? Did you get all the information that you need from it?
Did you get the context?
Did you get everything from it? I'm like, you can pick out points here and there, and people can pick what they want from it and turn it into something else. Because you can have a sentence that says, the brown cat turned purple. But then now if you say the brown cat, you're like, that purple cat is not brown. It's a purple cat. They're like, but it was brown before. So I'm not lying. That cat was brown. And he is brown. But right now he's purple. So, I mean, it's the way of where you get your information from, and if you're reading the entire thing, or if you're just reading what you want to see. So a lot of people's truth is just a part. And once they dig deeper and find out more information behind whatever it is, now your little truth is different, because now you have stuff to either back it up or stuff that adds on to it. So that's why truth is such a hard situation, because no one can say what it is. And then when you do find something that you think is true, you can go get stuff and you're like, oh man, I wasn't totally right about this. I was kind of on the way there, but now I have more information, which is so different, because a lot of people think they have all the information and then they stand by it and they fight tooth and nail for something so tiny.
And also another, I honestly see that a lot in the youth of today, and also when I was in high school. But I see a lot of people in high school, or when they're younger, they think they know everything.
Oh yeah,
I know it's kind of a cliche, but it's honestly not wrong.
Oh no, I feel like a lot of people go through that phase where I know everything.
Where you're at that one point where you learn a lot, you learn how to socialize, and you feel you know how to do everything right. And it also applies to if they see something, that's their truth. They're gonna believe that no matter what. At least in most cases I see. And I want to bring up another tip on this. It says to bring an open mind, which I think honestly is the most important part when it comes to telling someone something. For example, like I saw your girlfriend cheating, or for example, like maybe you're frustrated with a friend because they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. And it says that This is where things can often go wrong between employees and managers and youth alike. The person leading the conversation plays the scenario in their head over and over again to work up the bravery for being bold with their approach. Instead, they should be thinking about of the outcome of what they want because that's all that matters. And I'm actually guilty of doing this a lot nowadays and when I was in high school.
Mm.
I was very timid, and I guess I still am timid. You can see how nervous I am right now. But but a lot of times when I would have to talk about something with someone that's very hard to talk about, I would go over and over again in my head and see what can I kind of manipulate to see where I can
Mm.
get the best scenario where they're happy, I'm happy,
Yeah.
their problem isn't hurting them anymore, and about all the times I did that, the conversation never ended up my way.
Yeah, I mean, you can always go over in your head what you're gonna say
Hmm.
because you can always adjust it and be like, you know what, maybe this is a little bit too harsh. I should soften it up here. But
Yeah,
you never know what the outcome's gonna be.
yeah,
You can give yourself like, oh, if I tell this person this, maybe they won't be as harsh
yes,
coming back at me. But you don't know the situation
no,
at hand. You don't know how that person's gonna take that,
hmm,
or you don't know how they're gonna deal with that information you're giving them. Because you can go up to your boss and you can tell them like, hey, I don't like how you're talking to me. And then they can respond back with, oh, I'm sorry, I'll change the way I'm talking to you. Or they can come back with, what do you mean?
hmm,
I don't talk to you badly. So there's different situations at hand. And you never know the outcome. So, of course, sure, you can go and play the scenario in your head
yeah,
5 million times, but is it really going to benefit you? Like, is it
hmm,
going to help you in the long run? Probably not. You're just going to get more anxiety and more
oh,
confused about how you're going to say it because you can have 20 different ways you're going to say it. And then when it
hmm,
comes down to it, you mix up everything because you're like, I don't know what's in it, what situation I want to go into. So, keep an open mind is like a good thing, yes,
hmm,
when you're receiving information and also when you're giving it because you, like I said, if you are open to what they're telling you, then you have a calmer state. But also when you're giving information to someone, you're at a calmer state as well because you don't know how that person's going to react.
yeah. And speaking from someone who does overthink and does overplan a lot of things, especially when I was younger, a lot. Yeah, I
Mm.
did that a lot, like with girls I wanted to talk to,
Oh yeah, I
and
had
and
situations all the
teachers.
time.
Yeah, and one advice I can give about that, I guess specifically, is to not overthink it in the literal sense. I mean, if you go about it maybe one or two, three times in your head and think about how you're gonna do it, but then after that, stop thinking about that and just start focusing on what you want the outcome to be, and prepare yourself, but not over prepare yourself.
Oh yeah, because like I've had that situation where I get anxiety a lot, where I
Mm-hmm.
will go through it multiple times in my head, or even after the situation, I will replay it over and over and try to figure out what I would have done differently,
Oh yes,
and
all the
that never
time.
helps because it's not helping you, it's not helping them,
No.
it's not even helping out with what you're currently going through, and all in all, like I said, it's just if you decided this is what you're going to do, then
Mm-hmm.
do it. If that person can't handle the truth that you're giving to them, then they're not going to handle it. And it's out of your hands whether or not what they're gonna do with that information. Um, a lot of times it's either between people and their boss, like you said, or
Mm-hmm.
people in a relationship. Sometimes it's even hard to tell a close family member or a close friend or even someone like you don't know. Like you have to go tell them because you find out about something. Like there's a lot of people out there that be like, oh, I don't know if you saw it online. There's a guy that was like, I have to tell this guy in front of me I saw at a baseball game that his girlfriend is texting someone else. And I'm like, that's a great deed to tell this person, like, hey, by the way, I saw her do this. I just want to let you know.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you can either tell that information to this guy and he's going to be like, thanks for being a bro or thanks for looking out for a fellow baseball player fan. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But he can always turn around and be like, who are you to tell me this?
Yeah, like why are you looking
So,
at my
yeah,
wife or girlfriend's phone?
why are you looking at our things? Like, why are
Yeah,
you trying to interfere with someone else you don't know?
yeah,
So, like I said, it goes back to what you said about telling someone the truth. It's timing, it's place, it's about how you're saying it and how you're going to take it back. Because, one, if you're telling someone the truth that they don't believe in, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
If you're telling them the truth that they don't know, sometimes it's a little lenient where
Mhm.
they'll accept it, but not fully understand it.
Yeah.
So
Especially they
you
don't
might
know
have
like.
to explain yourself about
Yeah.
it later.
Especially they don't
And
know the subject material.
yeah, and if it's something that they don't want to know that you have to explain to them, that's harder. I
Uh-huh.
feel like explaining a truth to them sometimes will be hard
Mhm.
because either you don't know how to put it for them to understand, or even if you try to make them understand, they're not going to understand because their background knowledge is not the same as your background knowledge.
Mhm.
So it's all about patience too when you go and tell people a truth, because either you have to be patient with them to come for them to come to the realization of the truth, or you have to be patient as maybe I'm wrong and I need to take some
Mhm.
time to reflect on what I said.
Yes.
Because like I said, your truth, my truth, his truth, anyone's truth, none of it is going to be the same. They
Yes.
might have certain aspects that overline with each other that be like, okay, you understand this, I understand this, perfect, that's our truth. But 100% what I believe and what you believe is completely going to be different.
Mhm.
There's going to be parts where we can say that are the same,
Yeah.
but there is a rare time if you ever find someone that has 100% truth as you, they're 100% lying. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not. There's no one in this world that's going to be 100% the same as you unless it is yourself looking at a mirror. Like, it is
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Yeah, even with our spouses and our best friends, even
Hmm.
even if you are so very compatible, at one point or another, they're gonna disagree with you,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's completely fine. That's human. That's human nature, to find what something to disagree about.
Oh, yeah. You can accept people for their truths. You
Mm-hmm.
can completely deny it, whatever you want to do. But in the end, we all have to be human beings, and we all have to accept the fact that we cannot go after someone because of their truth is different
Mm-hmm.
from yours.
Yeah.
We all have to be patient. We all have to be kind to each other, because I can say one thing, you can say the next, and we can go into a little heated debate or a heated argument between each other. But in the end,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be my friend, I'm gonna be your friend, and we're gonna have to get through it.
Yeah.
We don't have to agree on it, but we can accept the fact that that's yours and that's mine.
We can agree to disagree.
We can agree to disagree. That's totally fine. I do it all the time
Mm-hmm.
because I will have certain points where I feel this is the truth, and I am very hard-headed. You can ask anyone around me. If I feel like this is something that I know and that is in my brain as I cannot change this, which happens a lot, it is
Lord.
hard for me to accept someone else to tell me that
Mm-hmm.
I'm wrong. And 99% of the time, I'm going to be looking at you like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And in the end, I usually have to think about it. I'll probably look it up if it's something else. Like, if I look up something that either you tell me, if someone else tells me, if my boyfriend tells me, that I'm going to be like, is it?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check that out. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what people need to be doing instead of being a hardhead where they block it out and they're like, I'm never going to look at that information again, which sucks because a lot of people think one thing, and instead of trying to look and see if that other truth that they were given is actually relevant or actually believable, they just kind of push it off to the side. But nowadays, I used to be like that, actually. I used to be
Really?
100% like that. I used to be like, no, that's not what I was told, and I'm not going to accept that.
Oh.
But then now I'm kind of more open-minded to the fact where if someone tells me this and I'm like, really? Let me look it up.
Yeah.
Let me check it out. I mean, everyone has a phone, a laptop,
Yeah.
a tablet, an iPad.
Everyone
where it
has
connects
some
to the
sort of
internet.
electronic.
Yeah, and it connects to the internet, and information is at your fingertips.
Yeah.
You can look up basically anything on the internet. So there shouldn't be a huge disagreement with people. They should have the time to be able to go and check it out
Mm-hmm.
and figure out what you want to believe in the end. I mean, if you look up information and it tells you right there and you're still hard-headed, all right, we can't change that. That's going to be you
Yeah.
doing you. But at least you had the opportunity to see their side.
Yeah.
And maybe you're going to be looking at it differently and be like, you know what, they got some good points. I'm going to leave them to their stuff and I'm not going to be hard-headed.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to agree with them.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine. At least you gave them a chance.
Yeah, and I feel for me, I see an experience that I think that's the best way to grow as a person, where you can
Mm-hmm.
you can say your opinion or what you think is true, and you
Mhm.
can hear what they think is true.
Oh
You
yeah.
can argue, that's perfectly fine, and then if you can say, all right, I don't agree with your truth, but hey, I see it, I respect it, and that's what you believe. That's good for you, and I think that's the biggest thing that attributes to a person's growth, where they can
Yeah.
accept things that they feel isn't truth, but in a healthy, respectable way.
Mhm. It's more of the fact that it's something different or something that they don't know about,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone fears different and changing and stuff like that. Everyone
Yes.
has that fear of they don't want to know what they were doing is not right.
Yes.
So, of course, a lot of people struggle with coming to accept that maybe there is more to
Yes.
what they're thinking. Because you can be right and they can be right,
Mm-hmm.
but then you have to look at it like, hey, they actually are bits and pieces that come to this other thing. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, you need to understand that a lot of people right now don't do that.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Like
especially nowadays.
we have a lot of issues going on right now, like how a lot of people are seeing, I'm just going to put this out there. I know it's
Mm.
very touchy, but a lot of people are seeing cops as a bad thing.
Oh yeah.
But cops can be a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are like, "No, have you seen what they did?" And I'm like, "But do you see the entire thing behind it?
Yes.
Do you see that not all cops are bad?
Yeah.
Some cops, yeah, I can agree
Definitely.
with you there, but I'm not going to say that every single cop out there is a bad person, and I'm not going to believe what you say to be true as we should take down cops and this and that. I'm not going to put myself in that situation because I don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not true to me.
Yeah.
But that could be true to someone because they're like, every cop that I've ever seen has always been angry and always been rude. Okay, that's your truth and that's what you believe, but that's not what I believe. But I can understand your side and I will accept what you say.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel like to be the whole thing. So I mean, there's a lot of people out there right now that because they're so hard on their side and they don't look to see the other side, they're not going to accept it. That's why people argue. That's why
Oh
people
yeah.
fight. That's why people say that there's lies. That's why there's so many people that are not accepting the entire truth of things is because they only see one.
Yeah. They only want to look at one.
And then they only want to see
Mm-hmm.
theirs and they don't want to go out and look for other stuff.
Yeah.
So, what do you think we should do
Well, I
if there's someone that you see that doesn't want to accept your truth?
if there's someone that doesn't want to accept your truth, I mean, you can try and and explain your reasoning for why you think your truth is the truth.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, if they say, no, I think your truth is a lie and I don't believe it, I believe in my truth. And the best thing, in my opinion, that you can do is just to accept it and not make a big deal about it, especially when sometimes it can be the most trivial of things that also people argue about.
Mm.
But if you keep arguing with them and trying to force them to accept your truth, it's like arguing to a brick wall.
Mm.
They're not. If you keep forcing them, trying to think your way, which they don't think your way. Everyone thinks their own specific way. You're not gonna get anywhere, and it's really just gonna be a waste of time, to be frank.
Oh yeah, because if you keep having to re-explain or retell it, of course, after a certain point, you're gonna start to get upset. You're gonna start to
Mm.
get emotional behind it.
Yes.
And once any person in a situation where you're trying to explain something gets emotional,
Mm-hmm.
there is no way that any of them are gonna have any progress because
Yes.
now all logic has been thrown out the window.
Yeah, it's all about emotion, and
It's
you're
all
fuming.
emotional. It's all I'm heated, you're heated, and now we're gonna be yelling at each other, and no one's gonna be listening to the other person
Yes.
because now you closed off, they're closed off, and now it's just words being yelled at each other because no one wants to now accept anything or listen to anything, and then because you're emotional and because they're emotional and emotions are flying back and forth, it just brings that emotion higher and more, like it's in like a full-on atomic bomb happening where
Yeah.
you can't stop anything
Yeah.
from happening anymore.
Yeah.
And it's terrible because if both sides just calm down and listen to each other
Mm-hmm.
in a nice calm way, maybe they can come to not even, they don't have to agree to each other, but maybe it's like equal terms where they can just flat out and say, all right, that's fine, we're good, we're gonna go our separate ways and we're gonna leave it to be.
Yeah, and it happens quite a bit. I mean, you can think that you're a rational person who likes to listen to both opinions, but in my personal experience, when it comes to something you believe very fiercely or something that you like doing, for example, I like playing a card game, and it has to do with, there's a lot of rules in there that conflict with each other sometimes, and when someone tells me no, that your ruling is wrong and mine is right, I'm not gonna lie, I don't get heated, but I get very defensive.
Okay,
And
yeah.
and then where I don't yell at people, but my mind is fixated on, okay, these words say this, so it does this. But there have been times where I've been wrong, and actually what they were telling me was the truth. But I was still also very flustered, and no one wants to be wrong,
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna pout or just say, oh, I didn't read like that, or I didn't see it that first time. I'll be very defensive. It's not a very productive way.
No, I mean, it's any situation you have. You can be talking to someone about
Maybe they're
their computer that they have. They
Yeah,
know their
yeah.
computer. That's why they bought it for a certain reason. And I can be like, "Oh, my computer has touch screen."
Yeah.
Which is true. And then you're going to be like, "Oh, but you're not using it correctly." And I'm going to be like,
Oh,
"But
yes.
this is mine. I know how to use my
Yes.
computer." And they're like, "No, you're not using it correctly. I need to show you how to correctly do something." And because this is my person, like my
personal
possession,
property.
my personal property, and this is my thing, why would you tell me I'm wrong? So a lot
Exactly.
of people get very heated in a situation where they feel is personal to them.
Yes.
Because it could be just something random. That's fine. You can guys get into a little debate. Ultimately, you guys can just be like, whatever, dude, I'm going to go. But if it's something personal to someone, of course, they're going to stand by that. They're going to fight for it because
Yes.
that's personal to them. And that's now they've taken it as, instead of it being maybe a truth that they wanted to tell you as like a, hey, just so you know, it turns into a personal attack on someone.
Oh, yes.
And because it's a personal attack on someone, now,
It becomes more about your emotions than defending what you
Yeah.
have.
and so now
Not thinking
truth
about
has now
logical.
turned into emotions, and emotions are never gonna lead you anywhere.
No. Usually they actually make the problem very much worse.
Oh yeah, anytime, like I said, anytime emotion comes into play, you don't know, because even you can even be super ecstatic and super hyper
Yes.
and super out of the extreme opposite of being the
You know.
angry person that you're coming at, but because you're so happy and so excited about this one thing, you didn't realize something else, and now when you're excited and happy and telling them this, they look at you and they're like, what? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Because you can be so excited about it, and you're trying to tell them all the information at once, and super fast, and super fast, and like super ah,
Oh,
and they're
yes.
like, what?
Yeah, I actually used to do that when I was in like high school when I got into like fighting games. I loved them so much. I talked to some people about them, and they're just like, "What are you talking about, man? What are you playing video games? You're such a
they'll
nerd."
just do the whole, hi.
Yeah, like hi. Oh yeah, hi. Bye.
And then,
I don't know you.
Yeah, you could be telling them something super fantastic and amazing, but you're not getting your point across.
Yeah.
Because you have this emotion of, oh my god, I need to tell them right now.
Yeah.
And then your point doesn't get across, and then later on when you finally calm down, you're like, I forgot the entire thing.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot of the time because I will get super excited about something, and I'm
Same.
like, this person's gonna love it if I tell them this right now at this moment in time, because guess what, I found out another truth. And then you go over to them and you're so excited and you tell them, and they're like, calm down, take a breath, and you're like, okay, let me calm down. I forgot what it was, but I know it's about this.
Oh yeah, I'm actually guilty of that today.
Oh yeah.
It's a fun feeling, but it's also can be kind of troublesome when trying to explain something you love.
Yeah, and then like I said, it's super like going back to the whole like internet's at our fingertips. We can find things out super easily.
Yeah.
But there's a hard thing about that, because you can find things online nowadays,
yes.
but it's not from a like reliable, or
Oh,
it's just
yes.
people putting things out
Yes,
there.
the
So
issue,
that's
like
why
fake news sometimes.
fake news. That's why there's a lot of people putting out false things out there, and it's hard, but you have to also pick through what people say to find the correct truth.
Yeah.
You can go on Google, and you can Google something, and the first thing that pops up is usually the most popular thing. The
Yeah.
most popular thing cannot be always the correct thing, the right thing, because I can Google on there something and find an article and read it real quick and be like, all right, cool. Now I know something, and I'm going to go tell this person and inform them. But then they come back at you and be like, dude, did you realize all that was, like, false? That's garbage.
Yeah.
That wasn't even from, like, a real article. That's like someone wrote that in their house in their pajamas. Like,
Yeah.
I can write something and put it on the internet, and I can put on there, platypuses, they don't lay eggs. They
don't?
spawn out of the sky.
Oh gosh, that'd be scary.
And I'm going to be like, from Dr. So-and-so. I'm not Dr. So-and-so, but someone's going to believe that because it's on the internet.
Yeah.
And it's sad because
It
a lot
is.
of people see one thing and that's what they go by.
Yes.
And that's how I'm going to be completely honest. I did that for a while. I would go on, and I'm a grandma, but I go on Facebook and I read all the little things that people put up, and like I'll see like a little post of something real quick, and it'll be like, so and so did this. Did you know this affects your health?
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
like, really? And I go on there and I look
Yeah, I
at it and I'm like,
remember
oh,
those.
I've been doing that. I shouldn't be doing that. I'm gonna die. But then like I tell that to someone else and they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, yeah, look at what it's right here, like on this article thing. And they're like, dude, don't believe that. Here, watch. Go on to an actual legit site or look it up somewhere else, and it's like shows no like connection to whatever disease they were talking about. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, then what was I doing? Like, but that's the thing. A lot of people take the truth as what people say,
Yeah.
and if they feel like a lot of people are believing it, then they're gonna go with them. And that's why I get kind of confused between what is right, like what's the correct thing, and what. So that's why I told you I go back and I look at a lot of different spots now because I don't want to go and look stupid when I try to talk to someone and they're looking at me like, where did you get this information? I'm like, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a big problem.
Because I mean, a lot of people go on social media, and which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
a lot of that's where a lot of people get their information from, and that's where a lot of people tend to believe things.
Yeah.
But to be completely honest with you, half the stuff on there is complete garbage.
Oh yeah, definitely in social media. It's most of it, a lot of it, it's clickbait.
Yeah, it's basically the more people view it, the more they get paid. So of course they're gonna put something out there because they're gonna be like, I need to spice things up. And I'm like, of course, I love to read those things. Like, I like to go on there and find the cute little BuzzFeed quizzes and, like, make something fun today. And, like, talking about how, like, oh, this and that. But then you go onto a website, and especially in, like, if you're looking at politics,
Oh yeah.
you can find one thing here and one thing here and one thing there, and none of it sounds the same anywhere you go.
Yeah.
Like, I saw a video and then it said that Trump said this, and I was like, I'm shook. How
Then
could he?
appalled.
Like, I'm appalled. Yes, vocabulary. But I mean, I didn't understand. I was like, this doesn't seem right. Like, why would someone in that position say such a thing?
Yeah.
And I was getting so upset. And then when I told someone, they're like, dude, he never said that. And I was like, but it was right here. And they're like, no, actually go on to a news site where they give you the full clip. He never said that. Someone else either recorded over it or he changed the audio or something to make you believe that.
Right. Yeah.
Because they want you to believe what they think is true. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's why truth is very perceptive. Because I can be such a great persuader, and I can make you think what I think is true. But then now we're both wrong. So now you know who's the truth, is you have to find out for yourself.
Yes.
And that's a hard thing to do, and a long process to do.
Very long process. Yes. Yes, and I like to. I'm gonna add on to what I was talking about before about speaking a hard truth to people, make it a little easier, or as easy as possible, is to give them clear language. And the best thing you can do for yourself is to be direct. the best thing you can do for the person to be direct, for yourself and for the other person. That means explaining why you feel the way you do with specific examples. From there, be very clear about the solution or changes you would like to see going forward. Before your meeting, write down your key talking points and say them out loud. You never want to hear yourself saying this a hard truth for the first time in a highly stressful situation. A little practice in advance goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly think this also is good for speaking the hard truth, because a lot of times the hard truths, it's not a easy thing to say. Sometimes in my personal experience, when I have to speak the hard truth to someone, I do choke up a bit. That's because I'm a very shy person, but I do choke up a bit, or I do stutter over my words, or I'm not very articulate. And a lot of the time, especially when it comes to someone who's a for example, a no nonsense, down to earth guy, if I talk to him, I'll start stuttering about maybe his girlfriend, for example, or his family members, and he's gonna honestly think I'm either joking or I'm not being serious. Or he's just not gonna maybe even take offense to that. You never know.
Yeah. And then it's also like what you said, you have to be very clear and everything when you're talking to someone, because if you try to tell them something, and let's just say you're not like you said, you're a little shy, you're not sure how to tell them. You're like, maybe I'll tell them like, I saw your girl, wink, she was,
Yeah.
doing things, and they're gonna be like, she does things. Like, what do you mean? And then you're like, oh, I said it wrong. They're like, dude, if you can't tell me what's going on, like, I don't understand. And then because you keep stumbling over your words, or it's not coming out the way you want it to be, and it can possibly change the entire thing. Like, you can just try to tell them, like, oh, I saw your girl out last night with another guy. But if you just tell them, like, oh, I saw your girl out last night. Okay, and I saw your mom at the grocery store. So your point is not going to get across unless you are clear with what you're saying. So yeah, like you said, make sure that it's precise, make sure it's clear, make sure that when you do tell it to them, if you and your homie know code words, sure.
Yeah.
But I don't recommend telling someone a hard truth with slang or with like code or
with the hard truth, you should use real
direct.
words.
Yeah, it
real
should be
words.
Real words.
Be honest,
direct with them, and always be kind of what's the word for it?
Sensitive.
Sensitive.
Yeah,
and open to what their feelings are.
Yeah, you can speak in a softer voice, but still be direct. Tell them what they need to hear if they need to hear it.
But you also have to take in consideration you're gonna be hurting this person's feelings, or you're gonna be aggravating their feelings, because, like we said multiple times, no one wants to be told they're wrong.
No. And that actually is a good segue for this, is to remember that it's gonna be hard. And it says to anticipate feelings of uneasiness from both sides, so they don't surprise you during the live conversation. Know that you will feel your heart rate pick up. You might hear your voice quiver with nerves. Think about those feelings before the meeting and understand that they're normal and they're coming no matter how comfortable you think you are. When you prepare this way, you're better equipped to quickly acknowledge and move past any jitters that creep into conversation. And that's honestly the most realist thing I've ever read. That speaking the hard truth, I've been told the hard truth sometimes, and I know it's coming, and I like to shut myself away, like think, oh, okay, I know this person or so-and-so's gonna tell me this. I'm ready for it. And when they tell you, there's nothing that you can do in that moment to actually stay away those emotions. They're coming.
Yeah, I've had it both situations where I received very hard truth, or I've told someone their very hard truth. In both situations, receiving or giving that information it's a hard thing to do.
Yes.
One, you don't know how this person's gonna take your information that you're giving them, and two, you don't know what you're going to expect.
Yeah.
So you can't really prepare yourself for a situation, and so when it gets thrown at you, you kind of get defensive, and a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And that's perfectly fine. It's a normal reaction for most people, is to be on the defense.
Yeah.
If they're being attacked or they feel attacked. But a lot of times, if you're the person telling someone the truth, and you know that you have to do it, and this person's very close to you, and this is like my best friend, because I had to tell one of my best friends, like, hey, dude, like, you need to turn your life around. Like, you're messing up, and I don't want to see you go down this route.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I was a little nervous in the beginning, but towards the end, I'm like, I care for this person, and they need to know.
Yes.
So that fear, I'm gonna put it behind me because this is something they need to know.
Yeah.
And ultimately, yeah, she didn't take it very well in the beginning, but after we had a little talk, I let her cool down. She was like, you know what, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I totally understand where you're coming from, and that's it. Like, if she wants to agree with you, cool. If she doesn't want to agree with you, that's fine too.
But yeah, it's a one thing you need to really think about when you really prepare yourself for when you're going to tell someone something hard, even sometimes something very tedious, not tedious, menial. Sometimes some people put more focus into menial things. Sometimes, but people's minds think a different way. But you also got to be into consideration that especially if something big or something they feel is big, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to tell them. It's going to be hard for you to get everything out in whatever situation it is. Your voice might stutter or quiver as mine is right now.
Yeah.
Or your heart rate's going to be it's going to be accelerating a lot. You're going to be nervous. But honestly, especially if it's a really hard truth that they need to hear, then you tell them when you feel the time is right. Of course, there's really rare things as knowing when the time is right sometimes. But sometimes the hard truth has to be said. Well, all the time, but different circumstances.
Yeah. Okay, so then, just to wrap it up for you guys, yes, your truth is relevant. No, your truth may not be the same as someone else's truth, but that's okay. We shouldn't have to be fighting each other because what we believe to be true is different from other people.
Yeah.
So take into consideration how people feel, how you feel, and don't let it get the best of you.
And have an open mind.
Have an open mind. Have the consideration to take what they say and what you have to say to them with compassion and with understanding. Because, like I said, truth is a hard thing for people to understand, and there is no complete and utter truth that people can tell anyone and have everyone on the same page. It's very hard, and it's something that we need to understand that is a belief that people believe to be true, and to bring someone's belief down is always a hard thing.
Yes.
So be nice to each other, people. And I believe we're going to wrap it up there because we've been talking a long time.
for an hour.
For like over an hour. I apologize to all our viewers, but
to whoever did stick out to the entire video, thank you so much.
Thank you for
You're
joining.
You're a trooper.
You're awesome. We love you.
Yes.
And we'll see you all next week with more exciting episodes of Diving Deeper.
I'm not doing that.
Join me, Manny, as we say goodbye. Goodbye, fellow humans.
Hello.
Mwah.